Behind every spectacular home design is vision, imagination, and attention to detail.
What becomes the final product is a result of months of planning and hard work. Space by space, we're going to show you exactly how that happens.
I'm Becki.
And I'm Brett. We're siblings who build custom homes together and have a lot of fun doing it.
Sometimes too much fun.
Come along for the journey from rendering to reality.
Come on, Brett, let's go. We're going to show you some of our favorite outdoor spaces. The resort-like beachfront, the idyllic family ties, as well as 2 other spectacular lots with jaw-dropping views. Brett and I have a really good working relationship. Obviously we're siblings, but we have that banter. We also just work really well together. We're able to respect each other's opinions. We both have teams of people that help us. Like I have a big team that, I have people who do renderings, I have people who design. I can't be everywhere at once and they help me so much. So I'm so grateful for my team.
That's like a sports team. You've got to be synergistic. You know, you're only as good as your weakest player, and it's the same. I could not do what I do without my guys, my subcontractors, suppliers, all these guys that make these homes great. I cannot do what I do without a great team behind me. And it starts from the beginning. It starts when a customer buys a lot.
I think making a good team is having people that have a similar aesthetic. So if I pass something off, I feel like, okay, they're gonna do what I would do or even make it better. And also communication. Communication is huge.
I think you said it, you nailed it. Communication is key. You've got to be able to communicate and sharing the same values, sharing the same goals.
Yeah.
I think you've got to have a team that looks towards the end game.
And that hopefully respects each other and wants to work together and wants the end goal to be amazing, you know?
I've had so many of my subs come to me and say, hey, I know this is not my job, but if we can do this, it'll turn out better. And so
that's a teammate.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about buying a lot, purchasing a lot. I think Brett's really good at that. He gets on the site and he will help anyone figure out where their house should go, or if you should purchase that lot or not, or how it's sloped. And
that's actually one of my favorite parts.
I
love getting involved early on. We'll do everything from taking step ladders to see, okay, this is how high your elevation is going to be, so you see your views, you'll see over those rocks, or you'll see
mark off where the home will be and be like, hey, this is how your home's going to set with paint, or he'll definitely go the extra mile.
I think it just creates the visual. Sometimes we'll paint right where the front door is.
Yeah.
And you stand at the front door, this is where your windows are going to be, and that's where you can see through the windows, and you just try to create the vision. And
before you even decide that you're going to purchase it. You've done that.
It just helps, I think. Yeah, I think along with the lot, you've got to create a sense of importance for the outdoor living. I am a true believer that outdoor space is just as important as indoor space.
It's an extension of your home. I love designing outdoor stuff too. I feel like it's just an extension of your home, and you want people to be drawn out there to just enjoy the outdoors. Nothing's better than getting a little vitamin D.
I love to carry materials through, we call it blur the lines between inside and outside, where you'll carry a material, whether it be stone or some material through the wall, through the window wall, and so as you're sitting inside, you look through it to the outside, and it just draws you to the outside.
So instead of starting your exterior design at the end, I really love to start it at the beginning. I think it's super important.
So when you're designing outdoor spaces, Becki, what do you think of? How do you start? What's your inspiration behind?
I usually start by what furniture I want to use. I know
I'm
like, oh my gosh, I want to use that. I want to use that. There's some really cool outdoor pieces that I think can kind of bring that feeling of inside out. And nowadays, the outdoor furniture looks like indoor furniture. So I personally will look at some outdoor furniture and be like, okay, I definitely want to utilize that. And I can kind of build around that to make sure that the outdoor space is super functional and usable, and also looks really good. And looks really good with what we have going on the inside as well. When designing an outdoor living space, I definitely want it to be an extension of the inside. So we tend to use the similar materials that work on the outside, as in similar wood tones or anything that we're using on the inside, we just want to bring it outside. Even with your outdoor rugs, your fire table, we just want it to all blend in your eye from the inside to draw yourself outside. Here I have some renderings of an outdoor space that we did, and you can see it almost looks like it's part of the inside. We did a tongue and groove ceiling in the cabana where it looks like wood. It's actually not wood, but it's a faux wood that looks like wood that matches the inside. So I feel like we really just tried to blend that seamlessly together. So you're like, am I inside, am I outside? It just feels one cohesive, complete project. In talking about the outdoor space, Brett was a huge impact in that, and he really helped with the lot. He's gonna talk to you a little bit about picking the lot and finding the lot. Try to keep in mind your outdoor space when you're picking your lot.
So photographs and renderings can only show you so much, but to get the actual feel of the lot is to walk it and to feel it out in person, to be there. Yeah.
How do you think, like when you're positioning, when you're walking a lot for the first time, what's going through your mind as far as where you want to position, like, you know, certain areas of the home?
You know, a lot of times I'll think of the view corridors. You know, that's a big part of it. You know, what are you going to see from the back of your house? How is it going to incorporate from the inside to the outside? I also really think an important part is the shade element. You know, where's the sun going to set? Where's the sun going to rise? And creating, you know, shade structures, whether it be through landscape, whether it be through trellis or overhead, you know, structures to create that shade spot.
Right.
You know, and then what's in the sun, what's going to be in the shade, because you want a little sun in like a pool area. And so, you know, you got to think through the design of all that, and then the construction of you know, building that. Yeah. But that starts at the beginning. I mean, you know, with the architect, you'll sit down and they can do a sun study.
Yeah.
And so you basically pick the day of the year and the time of the day.
And where it's hitting.
And where, you know, take your structure and your sun, and you can design your overhangs so that it shades exactly where you want it, when you want it, how you want it. Yeah. But it just takes preparation from the beginning. So here we are on a lot. I want to show you a little bit about what we do to make sure that lot is positioned right exactly for the view corridors you want to accomplish. You know, you'll see in the background a house we just finished. We're going to save that for the reveal. But let's talk a little bit about orientation of houses on lots and how we get that prime view nailed. If you look here, you can kind of see we're going to be looking up the length of this beautiful 2.5 acre lagoon. And as we were thinking through where we wanted to position this house, you know, we actually changed it from the architectural designs. We tweaked it about, I would say, 10 to 20% to turn it so instead of looking across the lagoon, you're looking up the full length of the lagoon. It's just more impressive. You see more water. You feel that long look, and it just makes the feel of the upper deck so much better. We kind of learned that from building this house and carried it into this house that we're looking at right now. We've also got one more lot in between this house and that house. You can kind of see the dirt is ready. We're all set. We've got the rooms laid out. We've got the view corridors from the primary bedroom to the great room to the decks, and everything is positioned just to look across that sand and the water just so you see it, and it just feels so great. Super excited to get started on that one. I'm beyond excited for this house. If you look at the renderings and the initial architecture, you'll see glass up 3 stories of this backdrop, and it's gonna look so cool looking out the windows, and the windows are actually sliding doors as well, so you have this indoor-outdoor transition into a killer pool area. We've got a pickleball court on the side, and this just outdoor dining, outdoor sitting, fire pits, pools, lounge areas. I mean, talk about a party house. This is going to be it.
So for Viewpoint, how do you feel like the views are turning out? I know when I was there walking through, it was like unbelievable. Like, are you happy with where it ended up? Like,
well, I mean, when it started, I
Yeah.
remember walking the lot
Yeah.
initially, and it was just this rolling hill
Yeah, actually, I do remember that.
of lava,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, the elevation was here on the back
You could barely
side
even
and
walk
here
up
on the
there.
front side.
You
Yeah.
had to have like major boots on because all the lava.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, we had to decide and get approved on the finished floor
Yeah.
elevation, and that's, you know, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then
excavating all
the
that.
backdrop, you know, we wanted a pool that had an infinity edge because the backdrop drops way down, and so
Yeah.
you want this pool to look like the disappearing edge
Yeah.
just overflows into infinity.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, that was the inspiration
Yeah.
behind it. And then it was very
view.
critical that we centered that pool right on the front door. And so, you know, I remember taking a string line from the front door through the back of the pool to make sure it was exactly centered.
Yeah.
Because it's got a round hot tub and then a 50-foot wide pool
Yep.
that has a little arch. And well, you've seen it,
Yeah.
you know.
The back's gonna be amazing.
But it does.
Back is just in this house. The back is just as important as
yeah.
the inside.
But then we had to orient the house such that you know, when the sun
Yeah.
sets in
Yeah.
the evening, you're trying to get the shade in certain areas,
Yeah.
but then you like the sun in certain areas. And so again, that sun study of knowing where you are and where, you know, where the sun sets and where it rises, just to make sure your space is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So now we're on the construction site of an outdoor living area, and how cool is this? I'm super excited to show you everything we got. There is a ton going on outside here, and we're just starting to see it come together. As you look at the renderings that Becki's done for this outdoor barbecue area, this outdoor kitchen is a step-down kitchen. I mean, you can see there's a ton going on right now, but it's gonna all come together with the barbecue and the smoker and the kitchenette and, you know, everything that's going on down here. And then as you step back up, this patio space has got speakers for music and lights, and then you get to the real cool pool element. This is a four-sided infinity edge pool that the water just floats over the edge of the hot tub and the pool into a little kiddie pool. And then, I mean, the reveal is going to be unbelievable. And you look across the pool to this killer view. I mean, there's so much going on here. The flooring's going to transition from the house out to the patio. We've got a huge linear fire pit going in the middle, out the great room, across the pool to the view. There's just so much going on. I can't wait for it to come together. When it comes to outdoor living, I love the transition walls that go from inside to out, carrying that flooring to the outside. I love outdoor living and making it feel comfortable with heaters and misters and all the things that help you facilitate the cool and the heat. It's just awesome to create great outdoor space. When you're done with construction, there is not a better feeling than just going outside and enjoying that outdoor space together with friends and family. I love it.
All right, we're talking about outdoor living, and for me, I love to incorporate the indoors outside. So I feel like that flow is super nice. And at our beachfront, there's 3 levels of that.
When you have a backdrop like this, you've got to kill it with your outdoor spaces. I love to blur the lines between indoor and outdoor to make it look like it flows so easily. And when you have a backdrop like this, you can't miss it. I mean, I think beachfront is extra special because you're given this killer backdrop, and you didn't have a lot of movement. The lot's pretty narrow.
It's pretty
I mean,
tight, narrow. I don't know. I love the pool area. I love that you can just go from basically the large lagoon to the pool to the hot tub. There's just like 3 water features basically right there within steps, which I think is amazing and super unique. I mean,
it is totally unique.
yeah. You can grab your kayak and go on the big lagoon, or you can just be in the pool with your family and have it more private and intimate. But I think that's
again,
something
small
special about it.
space.
Yeah.
But when you do it right, you can do small space.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great example of using a small space to make it work.
Huge impact. All right, here we are in the outdoor space. It's obviously just like an extension of the indoor space. We wanted it to feel very comfortable and inviting, and it just feels like there's lighting. It just feels like an extension of the inside.
It's my favorite area. They're all my favorites.
I thought you said that before.
They're all my favorites. No, actually, in a resort like this, when you've got this beach out here, and I mean, it's a lot. This is one of the first houses built, so there's a lot of construction still going on. You can probably hear in the background, they're nailing, they're
It's really loud.
But I love this space for the outdoor living.
Yeah.
And again, you get up on this third level, and you can see forever. I mean, you see
Great
the
views.
So with this beachfront home, we actually had the ability to have 3 levels, 3 floors. We've got the first level that's kind of the main area, the second level that's the lounge area, the third level in my mind is the party pad area. But if we start at the first level, that's kind of, let's talk about that a little bit. We've got a really cool outdoor space, patio with an awesome pool, an awesome dining area, an outdoor barbecue and an outdoor fire pit, all while you're sitting out there. You're sitting out there in the pool, looking out over the view of this 2.5 acre lagoon, sandy beaches, palm trees, just a really fun outdoor space on the main level.
Inside, it's just the main family area, the kitchen and the living room, and as you walk out of these doors, these bifold doors that open up, it just creates that indoor-outdoor feel where you can swim, you can barbecue, and just, I mean, everything is just right there for you.
I mean, I think it looks great both ways. You know, and you're sitting on the patio looking out towards the sandy beach and the water, but also from the water you look back at the house, and I think it's just such an attractive look. It's this beach style house.
It's all windows from the back. It's amazing. They also have kayaks and everything to use in the lagoon. There's just a lot of storage out there too, to just make this a really fun family gathering spot for a lot of people.
When we built the pool, we designed a safety pool cover that kind of smoothly goes over the top of it. In addition to the pool, right built into the pool at the same level as a hot tub. So that's everything we have for the first floor. Great spot, but let's move up to the second floor, which is another favorite spot.
It's a little patio with an eating area.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, your outdoor space, kind of more of a lounge area with the indoor, gathering bonus games. But the outdoor space, you've got a couple of patios off of the second level, one kind of off the game room and one off of the bedroom. I think what I love about the second floor is the floor-to-ceiling windows right outside the bonus room, because you can walk right up to them, and it almost feels like you're outside as you look out and see.
Flush.
I love that space. Honestly, the second floor is great. It's a great, gaming lounge area, but let's be honest, the party is up here on the third floor. Think about the party pad on the third floor of beachfront. I mean, that's my favorite spot.
I know.
Because you're up there
every favorite spot.
Well, think about it. You're up on top.
Yeah,
you got
views.
The transition from in to out, with the bunk room and the TV area.
Space. Yep.
You open those doors, you go outside. You also got another TV and a fire pit and gathering area and a lounge area, and it's a party spot.
Yeah.
I mean, this deck
third floor is awesome.
Killer. It's huge. You can, entertain a lot of people with the deck.
There's
the
2
fire
fireplaces.
pits.
One wraps around where you can have a lot of people around the fire roasting marshmallows. There's a TV. You can hang out, watch a game while enjoying this nice view.
I think as you're thinking about how to design a space, you want to picture in your mind how it'll be used. How will the spot be used? Will it be used, and what will it be used for? And so, as I think about, like, this would be the place I would go.
Yeah.
Like, where are people going to want to go? This is my spot.
So when you come out to this third level, there's this hanging pendant that actually I feel like anchors this seating space, where it's a place to gather, where you can watch TV. It just is pretty much designated for the sofas and the chairs, just to kind of hang out. The TV centered there, and you can kind of just chill here. And then as you move on, there's a little lounge area right by the fire where you can see the amazing view.
There's a spot where we chose to put a TV just kind of adjacent to this sitting area, and I wanted to do it because I thought, you're here, you're hanging out, but you also have the opportunity to watch a game at the same time. So it kind of serves as a multifunction.
Well, there's just so much space. It would be hard not to use it for multi-purpose. So you can hang out, you can go to the fire, you can do all this stuff, but you can also watch TV. I feel like this is a multifunctional space. And when you have a lot of people in this home, there's so many uses for it, and it's just another place where people can congregate and hang out.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, we've got speakers in the ceiling,
Yeah.
so music becomes another important role. You know, just the ambiance
I mean, you
and the
can have a
setting.
dance up here with a TV and with the music.
I told you, it's the party pad.
It is the party pad. You could definitely have a rager up here.
My favorite spot is in the back of the fire pit.
Yeah.
Like, I love, there's a fire pit for when it's, you know, a little colder, you can gather around, and just, it becomes a great conversation space. I
Yeah.
think as you sit around it, even if you want to roast marshmallows or hot dogs or anything.
And it's all built in.
just-
It's built in. It's a built-in space around the
Yeah,
fireplace.
I mean, it reminds me when I was a kid and you'd gather around a fire,
Yeah.
and that's kind of everybody just.
Tell stories.
Yeah, it's just so fun. The railings were actually a big discussion point because trying to decide what type of railings to do. We didn't want to block the view, but the designer wanted to make sure they looked good,
Yeah.
and she, you know.
I was hesitant about the glass, and I mean, they were right. It ends up just extending the view. I was just hesitant about them. I just didn't want it to look too modern in this beachy home. I mean, I feel like they nailed it for sure.
With what you see behind
Yeah.
it, I think anything with a vertical or a horizontal block
Yeah.
would impede the view, and so I think that's why we went with the glass, and it turned out awesome.
Yeah.
With this house, we chose to go with 3 different themes on the 3 different levels that we have. You know, the main, the second, and the third. The third being the party, the second being the lounge, and the first being kind of that main gathering area. And it worked for this house. It's a great resort, great party house. We loved how it turned out, loved how it feels and is used.
Yeah. Let's go check out the next one.
Here we are in the outdoor space of the Family Ties custom home, and I love how this space turned out. This is one of those homes where when we started, we had to think through how the outdoor space was going to work before we even started the home. There's so much going on that benefits this house. You might be able to hear in the background there's a kind of a river wash running behind us with a little waterfall, and so we wanted that to play an impact on the house and the backyard space. But it is a killer design. I love how it looks. I love the privacy element, and then I also love the open fill to the lower common area with the sport court and the grassy area. But inside is where you nailed it with some of these elements of patio.
I think we tried to really make the outside reflect what's going on the inside. We used a lot of the similar wood tones and black elements and just tried to bring it all from the inside out. So when you walk out, the first thing you see is the pool, and we decided to just keep that really neutral. We kind of went back and forth. We used a pattern tile along the edge detail, and we ended up just doing like a little white tile along the edge.
Just a 1x1.
Yeah, a little 1x1, and I think it just really worked nicely with everything else going on, and it made it just flow from the outside, especially coming right off of the kitchen. So the pool, I love the pool. Like, I would do that again in another home.
I love the raised planter behind the pool. It just kind of sets that off, gives you a little
Elevates that
privacy
area.
hedge with those single trunk cherries.
Yep.
And then the ground cover. I think that worked good too.
Everyone did ask about those trees. What are they called?
Well, it's a cherry laurel, but it's
Yeah.
a single trunk, and then they grow together as a hedge.
Yeah.
And I think it just works nice because
Yeah.
they're evergreen, so it creates a green backdrop the whole year round. And then it also gives you, privacy and just softens the hardness of
Yeah.
everything around it.
I love where you're underneath the heaters and there's the barbecue and the eating area, and there's heaters going, or you can turn on the misters when it's hot. We're in Utah. Obviously, I'm from California, and I put on a coat. He's in
That's good.
barely anything.
We're good. I think the intent there was to create a space that's comfortable when it's a little cooler. So we put these infrared heaters that are flush with the ceiling, and they just create a little warmth when it's a little cooler outside. And then in the heat of the summer, we also did these misters that kind of flank around the whole covered patio so that it cools that space down. I mean, honestly, with those misters on, it could cool the space down about 20 degrees. So it's a nice
really nice.
feature that just
Yeah.
eases the burden of the hot and the cold and just creates a great space for outdoor living. I love the outdoor space of Family Ties because it feels like inside space.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember we did a few things to make it comfortable when it's a little cooler.
Yeah.
Like, when it's 100 degrees outside, it makes it feel like it's 80.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in the colder months, you got the heaters that you can sit at the dining room table and be outside, and it warms up.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and then
I
the
think-
fire table,
Yeah.
you know, the gathering
Yeah.
spot. I think there's a lot of fun gathering areas in Family Ties.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then you move on to the little fire table area where, you know, it can seat, I don't know.
You can see about 10 people
Yeah.
sitting around a fire, roasting marshmallows, hot dogs,
Yeah.
making s'mores. Just a great place for kids, teenagers to hang out. It just
Adults
creates,
sit and
you
hang
know.
out too.
I think the goal behind a great outdoor space is to create spots where you can sit around
And gather.
and talk
Yeah.
and just have great social
Conversation.
time. It's
Yeah.
it's a good one with this spot.
I think outdoor spaces are one of the most critical parts of the house. You've got to think through them before you start the project. You've got to think of it early. Don't put it off to the end. I think it's very important to get going on that early on in the game.
Check out your outdoor spaces before you even start.
Get the outdoor
You'll be-
right.
You'll be so happy you did.